Video is a tutorial going through the instructions for cutting and assembling the third in a series of nets to make a carton. This one is a little bit tougher. It's a medium spiciness. We've got still some straight lines to cut and crease. We've got a little bit more fiddly detail down here at the bottom, and we've got some diagonal bits to fold and score. And the reason why this one's a little bit harder as well is because there's a few bits to point out. For this, we've left the tab quite short because of where the printing has gone off the page. So leave that. That's the only bit where I'd say don't cut along the line. Leave it right up to the edge of the card. Now, what this is a net design used by professional graphic designers for products that you find in the shops. The lid is the same. You've got a dust flap there. That helps to give it rigidity, but it also helps to lock the lid in place because the lid, as it comes down, will come into here and will lock into place. Hoping if you put the little notches in it, then that should keep it down and stop it from popping up. Now, as well as that, what it's also got is another clever little feature on the underside. This is called a crash locking base, because what happens is when it's assembled, it's nice and solid and you can't get anything pushing out of it. But if you just pop in the bottom, then it will flat pack. So it's like immediate flat pack to crush and collapse. So that is really good for in factories where you have a machine that puts the packaging together and then it just gets sent off as it is. All the gluing and everything gets done in one factory, and then it gets sent where the machine can pop it up, put the product in, and then send it on its journey. So there's no fiddly getting your hands in and doing anything unpleasant and difficult. So that's the net that we're going to make today. So we start by getting your scissors and cutting along the straight lines. Again, you can see from this one that's already been done, we need to take quite a bit of care, especially at the bottom, where we've got some fiddly details in here and down there. And again, as long as you cut along the line, you should be fine. We've got one lid, which has got these tabs in, which I said you just need to cut that little bit in there to make the tucking lock. And then once it's all been cut out, the next stage is going to be to use the creasing jigs to crease along the dotted lines. Now, you might need quite a large creasing jig for this one. Some of the other smaller ones won't be big enough. So just like before, you get your blue line in line with your dotted line. Get your pencil paper clip into the groove and then press and drag that along. Get it onto the next line, into the groove, press and drag, into the groove and press and drag. Look at the two ends, make sure they line up. Now we've got these ones down the middle, which we can't forget about. Is that lined up? Yeah. And then another one there. And then the final ones are these two at the bottom. So this is why they're a little bit more challenging, because these are at diagonal, so you need to look quite carefully at where they are in line with your jig to press that in. So that is now done. Now we've got some instructions on your sheet which should say to glue on the reverse side, but let's just make sure that this all goes together nicely. The top bit's quite easy. So yeah, it should say on here, glue on the reverse side, I think. If not, put that as a little note for you. So you get your double-sided tape, cut it, and then stick it on. If it overlaps a little bit, it doesn't really matter. Use the back of the scissors to peel off the paper. If it does overlap a little bit, just press it back on itself. Alright, so then that we have sticking up. If this was in a machine, the machine would press that side down, run some glue down there with an automatic arm, and then it would bring this side over. So everything's been done flat. We're not having to lift it up and do anything fiddly with it. It's just press down, and that automatically finds itself going to there. So the main shell is done, and the top is basically done. That will come in and assemble there. But the tricky bit is on the underneath. Now what we've got to do here is press these tabs in on themselves. So push them all in, so they're all in on themselves, and then these triangle ones fold backwards. It's quite fiddly, there we go. And then we'll see the hatched area that needs to be glued. So it is a little bit more fiddly, this one. Alright, so now as it sits flat, we can see there's the hatched bit there for the glue there, hatched bit there for the glue there. And other than that, it should sit flat. So now you get your tape, and we'll make one rectangle and cut it into two triangles. Alright, so we'll start with this one. Tape on, peel it off, and what we're going to do is make sure that that bit that we've just glued is going to press up against the one next to it. So push it down and then close it up, and that's automatically glued to that one. Do the same on the other side. Get your tape onto the hatched area, scrape the top off, and then that tab needs to be meeting that other tab there. So you push it in, make sure it's going to meet up with that one, and as long as you press it flat, it will automatically join itself. And that, when you flatten it, is flat pack. When you push it together, locks into place. So collapse, lock, collapse, lock, done.